Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Epic Movie Show. Joining me as always is my co-host, Chuck.
How's it going, everybody? Great day today. You know, here we are less than 3 weeks away from Christmas. Here we are in Spring Patch, USA, and there's still no snow on the ground. It's getting a little colder.
Yes.
So it was nice to be inside in the theater today.
Indeed.
We're going to be talking about the new Christmas kind of movie, Krampus.
Yes.
But before we get to that, we have a lot in the news. And I'll tell you what, I'll start it off.
Yes, go ahead.
Looks like there's going to be a Triple X3.
Now, I have heard about this project a little bit.
It looks like they're going to get a Bollywood star, and her name is Deepika Padukone.
Okay.
And I could have that way wrong, but she's a Bollywood star, and it looks like she's going to be the love interest for Vin Diesel in this latest vehicle.
Okay.
So I like both of the Triple X movies. I personally like the first one better because it was new and original.
Right.
But I didn't mind the Ice Cube version as well. I mean, anything that's got adventure to it, no matter how corny it is, I really enjoy it.
Right. I got a little fun little movie news nugget here.
Yes.
Paramount's Friday the 13th reboot has lost its attached director, David Bruckner, but it has gained a new screenwriter, Aaron Gizikowski, who did Prisoners, which I don't really know what that is.
Here's an idea. Let it die.
Let it die. For once, let Jason Voorhees die.
I mean, the man needs to rest in peace. Also, for any of our listeners who are fans of film from across the pond, looks like Trainspotting 2 is coming in 2017 with the original cast.
Really?
Which is really exciting.
Very well. Steven Spielberg came on to say that Indiana Jones 5, we will not be replacing Harrison Ford.
Really?
Yes. I'll be honest.
Wow.
This is the first I'm hearing about it. I don't know if they're 100% saying yes, Harrison Ford is going to be Indiana Jones again. But if so, I'm in.
Here's my thing. I think it's time to pass the fedora.
Really?
Yeah, I really do. I think...
Well, maybe they'll do that. Maybe they'll...
I really hope, and I know for a little bit there, they were talking about Chris Pratt taking on the mantle.
And I would love to see that.
I would love to see that. Here's my take on it.
Yes.
Indiana Jones passes the jacket and the hat to an older, more mature Mutt Lange, portrayed by Chris Pratt.
I'm in with that. I am.
That's my take on it. I would like to see that.
What I don't want to see is I don't want to see
Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah.
He's had his ups and downs, and I feel badly for the guy to a certain extent. I mean, you've got to take responsibility for your actions. You can't blame the media. You can't blame the whatever, the vices.
Right.
You just got to buck up and move on. Sad news, actor Robert Loggia passed away at the age of 85.
Now, what was he famous for?
I know,
right?
He was in so many things. Not least of all would have been, I believe, the original Godfather. Oh, geez, let me see. I'm sorry. I apologize. Oh, Jagged Edge. Oh, man. Oh, Scarface. I'm sorry, Scarface.
Okay.
And he was Big. He was in Big. He was the, I believe, the FAO Schwartz owner.
Gotcha.
The toy guy.
Yeah, no, I follow.
Let's see. Starred in Officer and a Gentleman, Prizzi's Honor, Problem Child, and Independence Day. Just to name a few. So, I mean, he was really well known. He was a well-respected actor, and he'd been around for, like, ever. Whenever you wanted a grizzled old Italian-looking guy, he was the guy.
Right. Now, we discussed earlier this week that the new Batman versus Superman trailer came out, and they kind of showed a lot.
Yeah, they did.
At the same time, they didn't show a lot, and left us to wonder how long this film could be. They didn't show certain characters, and some characters they said they haven't 100% confirmed were in the new film. Like the Flash, there were rumors we're going to see some Flash action. Well,
Right.
that was actually confirmed. I believe one of the costume designers was talking about the Flash costume.
Sweet.
So the Flash is going to have a small part in this new film, which is kind of exciting.
I did see, I don't know if it was the same trailer we saw, but I did see a new Batman Superman trailer, and they showed Doomsday,
Right.
which I know we discussed on the Geek Awakens, but they also showed a body in a bag, and the idea was planted. And I don't know. Should we try to give spoilers on this? Just
Well, it's
ideas?
it's not
all
a spoiler.
speculation.
It's all speculation.
Right.
It's not
okay.
a spoiler.
The speculation is that somehow Lex gets a hold of Zod's body and clones it to create Doomsday.
Right. Now there was also an article I saw, and I gotta remember what the other bad guy was. There was a. Give me a second. Let's talk in this for a brief second while I'm looking this up.
I did see a breakdown of the new Civil War trailer,
Yeah.
and I tell you what, the costume that they have put together for Black Panther looks kick-ass. And it's speculated that the entire outfit is made from a vibranium mesh. Almost like a chainmail armor. But it's like micromail, I guess. But anyway, it looks really good. The mask looks great. The whole outfit looks great. They pointed out some things about Iron Man's new armor and where it may be leading.
Okay.
And the differences in the arc reactors from the different suits.
Okay.
So I'm really excited to see where they go with it. And they said that they didn't want it to be an Avengers film. It's a Captain America film. And that's why it's Captain America Civil War. It's more about the people than it is about the team.
Right.
It's about friendships and how they're put to the test.
Well, back to this other thing. There are some who are speculating that it might not be Doomsday rather than Wraith from Superman Unchained. I don't know if you know who that is at all.
Wraith? Mm-hmm. Never heard of him.
Okay. And I hadn't either, to be completely honest. Oh, and this picture's terrible. But, oh, there we go. That's much better. This is a picture of Wraith. Oh, come on. Right here. He's got those glowing eyes,
right,
and such. It's just another villain that he faced, which honestly I'd be happy about, to be completely honest. I hate to see I would hate to see them put Doomsday this early in this franchise, and the only reason I say that is because this whole film's supposed to focus on Batman and Superman, but you put Doomsday in there. I mean, essentially that's the villain that almost kills Superman.
But here's the thing: they keep referring to him as Doomsday.
Who's they?
Every article that I've read keeps referring to him as Doomsday.
Of course they do, because that's what we're led to believe. Now, I have not confirmed nor denied this. This has not been confirmed nor denied by, of course, the studios. But there's also a growing theory that it could be someone called Wraith. So, I mean, and that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a total twist.
Right. And, I haven't even checked, and I'll do it right now while we're chatting about it. I'm going to check IMDb for Batman versus Superman and see if they've got somebody in there titled Doomsday or not.
Or Wraith. I did see a couple of trailers the past few days, generally stuff that I wouldn't normally go see, but I was visiting my friend Grizz, and we were just, chilling, watching just trailers. And there's a new one coming out with Gerard Butler. It's called Gods of Egypt. And it looks to me to be in the vein of the reboot of Clash of the Titans, Wrath of the Titans. If you like that kind of stuff, it's along that vein, but it's Egyptian gods as opposed to the Greek gods. It looks mildly entertaining. Gerard Butler is going to be the big name in it. And it's just, I don't know, it looks really odd how they're going to do it.
Right.
It looks like it's going to be action-adventure with just a sprinkling of a little bit of comedy to keep it from being too dark.
Well, I did check. There are, of course, several characters that have yet to be named until the film's release.
Nice.
So they're trying to keep some stuff to themselves. I'm curious. Like I said, I don't know. What is the origin of Doomsday? Was it a Lex Luthor invention?
I don't believe he was a Lex Luthor invention. I believe it was a Darkseid, and I could be way wrong. I'm not a huge follower of Superman, but I believe, and this is going back 20-some-odd years, I think.
Right.
And maybe not that long, but it seems like 20 years ago. I believe he was like cloned by Darkseid to actually be Superman's demise.
Right. Let's see here. I'm trying to find out exactly where Wraith comes from. It's an alien, apparently, so it wasn't made by anybody.
Well, this is lovely Dead Space.
My apologies. We're both like, I haven't really put much thought into this whole thing, so I haven't really looked much into it. But yeah, no, Wraith is another. He's not created by anybody.
He's just an alien,
and so and that's why I'm like, I don't know how to feel about this character that they've got out there right now. But either way, it's,
what do we have in box office?
We do have some fun stuff in box office this week. At number 5, we've got Spectre.
Which we both enjoyed.
Yes. It's at 184 total. Still not to their 245 in their 5th week, which, okay. We've got The Good Dinosaur at a total of $75 million. Still don't know have a budget for them. Creed at $65 million. No budget yet for them. But good to see it's above The Good Dinosaur in terms of this week, but not by much. Good Dinosaur this week did $15,512, and Creed did $15,540. So it's just barely above, but I'm glad to see an actual movie above a kid's movie, especially considering this week that it's a little bit behind. They came out the same day. They're still a little bit behind in terms of box office, about 10 million behind. Number 2, the movie we saw, Krampus, at $16 million.
That is surprising. It really is.
Yeah, no, I didn't expect it to be as well as it was. And then number 1, of course, The Hunger Games: Mockingjay Part 2. We still have not seen that.
I know.
And I'm kicking myself.
Well,
My wife is kicking me too.
I really don't feel badly about it because I haven't seen any of the other films.
Right.
I would have to watch the other, 4 before I saw this one?
3.
3?
3 other films.
I would have to see the other ones before I saw this one, just for my own personal
Of course.
taste.
But its currently total grossing is $227 million in 3 weeks.
Holy cow.
Yeah. Wow. That is impressive. That is just impressive. Well done. Well done, Hunger Games.
All right. I just did some research here on Doomsday. He apparently was originally formed in, he was born in prehistoric times on Krypton. And then it says about, anyway, he was, oh man, it's just so bizarre. In a cruel experiment involving evolution intended to create the perfect living being, the alien scientist Bertrand released a humanoid infant born in vitro in a lab onto the surface of the planet, where he was promptly killed by the harsh environment. The baby's remains were collected and used to clone a stronger version.
Oh my.
So, and it was over 20 years ago. It says his first appearance was in 92.
Wow.
So, but yeah, Doomsday's been around for
So
eons.
this thing may or may not be anything. We don't know yet.
Right.
We're still
It's still speculation
Right.
at this
It's all
point.
speculation. But I'm very excited to see this film. The more they release about it, the more I get. Now we talked about it on the Geek Awakens this week, and we discussed that. Okay.
We talked about a lot on Geek Awakens this week.
Okay. So how much are they going to be able to cram in this movie? There's a lot.
There's a crap ton. Let's
Yes.
be honest. I mean, there's probably too much to put in one film, even if it's a 2.5, 3 hour film.
Right, and that's what we discussed. You know, we've seen previews of a lot of things, but we haven't seen anything from, The Flash, Cyborg, Aquaman.
I mean, we just now got to see 10 seconds of Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman.
Right.
So I mean, how big a role are these other characters going to be?
And it's okay, I guess. My thing is this. I'm okay if they're actual just cameos. Like,
Sure.
not massive roles. They're just cameos.
As long as they're introduced or named,
right.
for me. Because
Well,
you can't
and
just have a red blur go by and say, oh, yeah, there goes Wally. You know, I'm just using that as an example.
Wally.
You can't do that. You have to, explain something to everybody.
Right. And I'm hoping that this movie will do that. Like I said, they don't have to go into complete detail.
No, not at all.
But they should at least explain some of these people. Now, the names they have on here, like, they've got a guy who's playing Barry Allen / The Flash.
Okay.
And so on and so forth. So they have all these people listed as characters. So I want to see how they're going to introduce them. They don't have to give a backstory on everyone, just little information.
Sure.
For instance, and I'm going to reference the TV show The Arrow. 2 years ago, they put out an episode about a guy named Barry Allen. And Barry Allen was a forensic scientist, forensic scientist who was in Starling City trying to track down somebody who might have killed his mother. And he was there helping. Now, at this point, he wasn't the Flash. What they did is at the end of that episode is when he really became the Flash. And so they gave a really nice backstory to him. You got to meet Barry Allen as he was, and it didn't give anything away. And I'm not saying they should do that with these films because
Right.
I want to see the Flash. I don't want to see Barry Allen in this film. I want to see Cyborg. I want to see the actual superhero parts of them, and not just their alter ego.
Well, you say that, but maybe, just maybe, this will be a way to introduce them as they were before they became superheroes.
From my understanding with the DC, the way they're going to do it just the opposite of Marvel. They're releasing the Justice League film and all that first.
Right.
And then doing all the stuff branching off of that. And if you ask me, it's kind of a cop-out because then if Justice League doesn't do well, they probably won't do any of them.
But you can't... if they're relying on people to know the characters ahead of time, then I think they're expecting too much.
Well, yes and no. I agree with that. There are people who may not know who these characters are. And they'll introduce them in terms of, I'm sure, vaguely introduce them.
Right. I mean, who knows who Victor Stone is?
I don't know who Victor Stone is.
Exactly.
Who is Victor Stone?
Cyborg.
Okay.
You know how he became a cyborg?
I'm going to say no because
Okay.
what I saw was on a film series. So
Okay, so see, and that's what they need to do. They need to introduce these characters and explain how they became before they're just, oh, hey, look, here's a super team. And then maybe 5 years down the road, if this one does well, we'll come back and tell you how everything happened.
or they won't. See, right now they're not saying they're going to do that. They're not saying they're
Right.
going to. All they're saying is they're going to have these characters. It's just like I said with Batman. We're not getting a Batman origin story.
No, we're not.
I mean, it's just not happening. He's there. He's already been Batman. He stopped being Batman, and now he's going to be Batman again. And I don't think we'll ever see the Ben Affleck origin story of Batman.
That's fine.
So you're okay with that, but you're not okay with the idea of not having an origin story for the Flash or Cyborg.
Okay, the difference is Batman movies have been made since 1989.
Sure.
When was there ever a Flash on the big screen?
Maybe not on the big screen, but on the small screen.
Big screen. Never.
Sure, but
When was Cyborg ever on the big screen?
no, that's never happened.
Never.
But he was also on the small screen in a smaller scale.
Are you talking about the one from Smallville?
Yes, yeah,
That was terrible.
It was bad. Don't get me wrong.
Oh my gosh.
Don't get me wrong. I love the guy who played him.
Yeah,
and I'd
but
see anything he
that-
put up. But yeah, it
that
was a
was
really
terrible.
bad rendition of Cyborg. And of course, now that being said, there have been several Justice League cartoons and a lot of cartoons, movies they have made
Sure.
that have been decent.
Right.
And I know in terms of an actual movie, there's nothing there. But there have been cartoon-based movies, and of course the comic books that explained all of that. And I guess they're really trying to, because here's the deal. They're really trying to appeal to the people who really already know who these characters are. And I know they should appeal to others, but let's be honest. If you have let's really, really down to it. If you have no idea who a superhero is, are you going to go see a movie about him?
In today's era, yeah.
Okay. See, I guess superheroes is kind of a tough thing. But
Because
that is what we're talking about.
Because they're so popular right now, everybody's looking for that jumping on point, and this may be the one.
Right.
If they don't know who the characters are, hey, I'm going to go see this movie and find out about these characters. Because they know that if they read the comics, they're not going to be matching the ones on the screen.
Right.
I mean, and, even the small screen to the big screen, they're not going to be the same.
Of course.
So...
Well, and like I said, I don't know. We'll see what they do. We don't know what they're going to do.
I hope they
right
do
now.
well. I really do.
Unfortunately,
they're kicking butt on the small screen, whereas Marvel, not so much.
Right. Well, yeah. But and we're gonna get to our review very quickly.
Our spoiler review.
But this is what we do. But
we get sidetracked.
we really have to focus on the fact that there's no freaking way they're gonna be able to jam every origin story into this film.
Not at all.
It's not gonna happen.
Nope.
And I don't think we're going to see any of them before they were superheroes. I think they're going to be superheroes. This is called The Dawn of Justice, and it's supposed to be a prequel to the Justice League. So I imagine you don't have a movie like. Essentially, we needed a movie prior to this, like the Dawn of Justice. Where
The pre-dawn of justice.
yes, where they did kind of give some origin stories and whatnot, and I'd actually see that film. Actually, would be a really good film. A movie where you saw all the origins of all these superheroes.
Whereas this movie, The Dawn of Justice, is basically, okay, now they meet each other for the first time, and they have to join up together to defeat the villain, whoever.
And you
it
know
may
what?
be.
That would be a decent. If I were a movie guy who made movies, that would be what I would do. If it were me, I would start with this film because it's going to be established. Batman versus Superman. You know these heroes. Let's be honest.
Right.
Superman's been on screen almost just as long as Batman. Maybe not just as long, but pretty darn close.
Well, when you consider, are you talking big screen?
Yeah.
Okay, well, Superman came out in, 76, 77?
Roughly.
So, yeah, he's been around a little bit longer than Batman as far as on screen, and even more so in the comics.
So they're using this as a vehicle to kind of drive the rest of their characters. Now, here's the problem. The first Superman film they came out with, the new one.
Okay.
The first new Superman film they came out with was left a bit to be desired.
That was the one with Brandon Routh.
No, that's not even in this ballpark.
Oh, you're talking the Henry Cavill?
Henry Cavill.
Okay. I haven't seen it.
Which we have to make happen before this film. We've got time.
Yeah.
But I've lost my list. Otherwise, we would have had Hunger Games already watched.
Right. Thank goodness they don't have a Ben Affleck Batman origin.
But they do have the Man of Steel.
Sure.
And the problem with that movie, it was kind of all over the place, to be completely honest. And I didn't like that. Now, I was able to follow it. And around the end, it did focus more on one story instead of several. So, I mean, I don't know. It wasn't the best origin story for Superman, but that's just my opinion.
Sure. All right, now that we have been all over the place, let's get on with our spoiler review of Krampus.
Now, for those of you playing the home game first time, this is a spoiler review. So by all means, if you do not want to hear anything about the film, we're going to give a few words at the beginning about the film, how we felt about it, what we thought about it, without giving anything away. But we are going to hit a point. All right, now it's time for the spoiler review. So when we get to that point, we're going to talk about the movie. We're not.
That's when you jump off if you don't want to know.
You don't want to know. If you want to see it and be surprised, then. And sometimes, it's even kind of a surprise to us as to how much we give away. Sometimes we get to talking about it.
We get carried away.
Yeah, sometimes, we get going, we're like, oh, that happened. And sometimes, like, you know what, we're going to preserve a few things for you. So we're going to start off with the spoiler, or start off with a non-spoiler review.
There you go.
First of all, just a few words. How'd you feel about the film overall?
I wanted to hate this film. It sounded stupid when I heard about it. I told myself I do not want to see this film. I did a little bit of research, and the pictures that I saw just looked terrible. They looked cheesy.
Right.
I actually really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot more than I wanted to.
I'm going to start off by saying I enjoyed it more than I thought I would, but not as much as I wanted to.
Okay.
For two reasons. Reason number one, well, they're both one reason. Every movie, he's either got to do one of two things. It's got to grab me and really pull me into the film, or it's got to scare the shit out of me.
Right.
This film did neither.
Right.
And that's why I didn't like the film. Now, that being said, that was the one thing I didn't like. Like I say, I was expecting either a scary movie or I was expecting a really good movie. And I didn't get either, and that really frustrated me.
I knew from doing my research on it before we went to see it, I knew that it was going to be a comedic horror film. So I knew kind of what to expect. And I heard myself and a lot of other people laughing.
I was one of them. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, There were certain parts of this movie that you just have to laugh out loud.
Yes, I loved the idea that I was laughing as much as I was. Just because it...
And I mean, even some things, I started laughing before the people around me caught on.
Yeah, and I can't tell you how many times I heard you. Just you. Giving your best Fred Flintstone up there. No, and there were a lot of really funny parts in this film.
And I mean, there were some jump parts, where they just jumped out and they did literally grab people.
Okay, now we're gonna get into the spoiler review. So This is a spoiler review. The first thing I want to say, now I was expecting more. For instance.
Now, were you expecting more horror or just more of a movie?
No, the movie itself, like, it had a story, and I liked where the story went. I was expecting more jumps.
Okay.
Kind of startles. I like being startled in a film. That's kind of how I gauge my... it's either going to be terrifying or it's going to be startling. It's never both. And this one was neither, which is unfortunate. But I was hoping at least for some startling things, like for instance, at the early part of the film, when the little girl was under the snowplow, and not the little girl, the girl was under the snowplow,
right?
And she was turning around. I so expected to have something right there and scare the crap out of her.
I really expected something to grab her and drag her out from behind,
something, and that wouldn't have been as great. Instead, they did neither. And they really didn't show what they did.
No, I think they left it to the theater of the mind.
I guess.
I understand. Yeah, and I know what you're saying. I totally get that. They left a lot up in the air for you to decide for yourself what happened.
Sure. Yeah, I just didn't like that. I don't know. There are some things I'm okay with, leaving to the imagination. Much like, thoughts and opinions about a certain character.
Sure.
Hey, this guy might have been gay, and if he was, awesome, but I'm going to keep that in the back of my mind just in case.
Right.
But that's not what we got. We got an actual, no explanation as to what happened. Something just happened. Like most horror films will go back to that spot, and they'll reference, there's a body part.
Right.
Whereas this didn't happen.
But, I mean, the basic story is there's a kid, and, he wants to believe in Santa Claus. He knows that he doesn't really exist.
Right.
He wants to believe. And he writes a letter, and he's got this dysfunctional family.
Hardcore dysfunctional family. And then more of his dysfunctional family comes over for the holidays.
Right. And these are people that he does not like.
Right.
He doesn't want to spend time with them.
Nope.
He really can't stand them. He knows his parents can't stand him.
It's very obvious.
I mean, nobody in this family gets along. And then they throw in the crazy aunt, who was marvelous, by the way.
She was.
She was
fantastic.
absolutely hateful, and I loved it. But
There were a lot of features about this film I really liked.
Right.
Which is why I like the film.
Yes.
For instance, I know this is like a horror comedy.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, Adam Scott, who played the main father,
Yes.
he did phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
I've only seen him in a few films where he's been funny.
Okay.
I haven't seen him in a lot of other films, and he was just perfect for this role.
And the Keckner guy,
The brother-in-law?
yeah,
Yes.
he was I mean, if you can imagine Cousin Eddie as a redneck, that was him.
Yes.
I mean, he had the Hummer, the guns, the attitude, and those poor daughters,
Oh,
Stevie and Jordan.
Yep.
But that you got to watch the movie for that, because that's
Yeah.
a whole story all by itself. And the son that never spoke.
Yeah, and they didn't say anything about it.
No,
but
not at all.
He had to have been like, disabled a little or something.
I don't think because all the attention was on the sisters. Mm-hmm. I think he was just kind of like brushed to the side, almost like the infant.
Right.
They were just there to fill space.
Yeah.
But Omi, the grandmother,
yes.
who she spoke German.
Through the entire film, with the exception of the
history lesson.
She spoke the entire thing in German, and I usually hate that, but I freaking loved it. This
Yeah.
time. It really worked, and you know what? Because Krampus is like a German thing, isn't it?
It was. I did, like I said, I did my research. It was Austro-Bavarian, German-speaking Alpine countries.
Right.
So I mean, German, Austria, Bavaria, all of the Alpine nations.
Right. So that's
And it's
why
still big over there.
is it? I really like to look into Krampus a little more. I watch a TV show called Grimm,
Okay.
and last year, it was either last Christmas or the Christmas before, they did an episode. What it is, it's all based on like lore, German lore or whatever, of kind of like your fairy tales, But everybody in this show has they're born as either a human or they're born as what's called Wesen, where they are actually like a creature, like an animal of some type. And I've seen everything from rats and mice to foxes.
The Three Bears.
I haven't seen the Three Bears.
The Three Bears were in like the first season.
Did I miss the Three Bears?
Apparently.
You are right. There were the Three Bears.
It was like the second or third
You're
episode.
right. I remember it now. The Three Bears. I've seen dragons.
Sure.
And they all have these German names.
Yeah.
Which is kind of fun. But in that, they've also had Krampus. Like I said, 1 or 2 years ago during Christmas time, and I really liked it. And it was a lot of fun.
So you had some preconceived notions before even seeing the movie.
And I'll tell you, it wasn't too far. Like, obviously, it wasn't a person who turned into Krampus.
Right.
But the Krampus lore from that film, or from that show, kind of helped with this one as well. It was around the same thing.
Okay.
A little bit different, of course, but the basic lure itself was there.
Sure.
So I really enjoy this idea of Saint Nick's shadow,
Right.
which is what they kind of explain him as in this film. So I don't know.
I really enjoyed Omi's tale being told the way it was.
Yeah, the animation style they use for that,
I
almost claymation.
If you go back to the Rankin and Bass, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Frosty the Snowman, that kind of stuff, it was very much like that, but a much cleaner look.
Well, it was computer generated claymation essentially, very clean, almost like the movie Coraline. Very reminiscent of Coraline in many aspects. So she tells the story from when she was a girl, and she actually experienced, spoiler, Krampus.
Right.
She lost hope in Christmas, and Krampus came to her house and killed her whole family.
Right.
But not her. So, I'll be honest, the one thing I didn't like about Krampus was that he never spoke. He wasn't like a thing. He was more of an animal.
If you remember towards the end when you actually saw his face, not an animal.
Right.
He was more Saint Nick's shadow.
I don't know.
A very dark version.
Yeah, no,
of Saint
that's
Nick.
for darn sure. I would have liked him to have spoke.
Yeah, I can see that.
Maybe not a lot. Maybe just a little at the end.
Something.
But more than just like the...
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, come on. Give me something more than this. Big spoiler alert. At the end of the film, I don't know how to feel about him.
I think you're not supposed to know.
And maybe, unfortunately, in terms of like, ratings and stuff, you should probably make it fairly more clear. I'm not sure, like, you know what? No, I'm not going to give that away.
I really enjoyed how they left it.
They left it really well. I just wish I knew what exactly they left it with.
No, and that's why I enjoy it, because you don't know. I mean, it could be one, but then it could be, oh, crap. Does this mean that they're all...
Right.
So, I mean, you got to see this movie to make up your own mind. Now, there's nothing fantastic about this movie.
No.
I mean, you can watch this movie once and never see it again, and you'll be fine.
Right.
Or you could be totally wrapped up into it, and, this is your favorite movie from here on out. I don't see that happening, but it could. I really enjoyed this movie. I would like to see it again. I'll probably wait till it comes out on DVD.
Right.
But no, I really enjoyed this film. I liked it a lot more than I wanted to, because, like I said before, I didn't want to like it because I thought it sounded stupid.
Right. So there it is, folks. There's our spoiler review. There was a lot in this film. If you like some somewhat funny movies, check it out. If you like scary movies, still check it out. You'll get a little laugh. And that was kind of unexpected for me. And then, if you just like movies in general, you want to see something different, check out Krampus. It was fun.
It's definitely different.
In addition, and not that I want to get off the Krampus train, but I do have to. This week, we also checked out a film earlier this week, In the Heart of the Sea.
My God, that was great.
I am very excited when this comes out in theaters, which is next weekend.
Yeah.
We've already seen it. We saw it like Tuesday. We got an early screening, and that was a lot of fun. Special thanks to AMC Theaters for putting it on and letting us go in there and a few other places. But we're very excited for your guys' opinion on this film. That week, we're going to see something different. We'll either see something that comes out. I think there's only one other movie that comes out that I'm not interested in. Or maybe we'll check like The Hunger Games or one of these other films we missed throughout the weeks. Or maybe we'll do something here. I don't know. We'll figure it out. And we're going to have a show, and we're going to talk a little bit about In the Heart of the Sea. But for the most part, we're going to focus on something else. But you check this out. It's the best film I've seen in all year.
Yeah.
It is the best film I've seen all year, and probably
is
one of the best films I've seen in the last 5.
It's a phenomenal film. If you're not familiar with the story at all, it's based on the true events that were the inspiration for the story of Moby Dick.
Right.
So imagine, if you will, 1800s, whaling vessels. They do not hold back. They do not sugarcoat anything. Go see this movie. It is so well acted. The special effects will make you believe that you are there.
Right.
I could almost smell the fish guts. I really could.
Yeah, no, it was well done.
Oh my gosh. I want to see it
well
again.
Done. Yeah, no, I'm with you. I talked to my dad. I called my parents after we got home, after we got home and we finished the show. I called my parents and I'm like, Sue, remember when I said you should see James Cameron's Avatar in theaters and you didn't? And then you watched it at home. You're like, oh, this would have been nice to see in theaters. This is one of those films.
Right.
You want to go see this movie. Not only is it one of the best movies I've ever seen, but it's very visually nice.
Oh, yeah.
It's just a really good film. It's just a really good film. And I keep saying it. I'm going to see it in theaters again, which I don't do often. I'll usually wait till the DVD comes out after I've seen it once. But this one I've got to take some friends to.
Yeah. We didn't even talk about trailers.
We didn't.
Finest Hours, that's the second trailer I saw.
The new trailer.
The new trailer makes me want to see it even more.
I was thinking that. As a matter of fact, and I'll show you my note here, but I write down notes during the trailers just to, and they're not really notes. They're more like just like,
Scribbles.
Smiley faces and such. I always write down, my smiley faces are kind of how I like the trailer, not the movie, and sometimes the movie, but 9 out of 10 times, But if you look here during next to Finest Hours,
What is that? 4 exclamation marks?
yeah, big smiley, 2 smiley faces under that. It looks like a double chin. I don't know. So there was that brand new trailer, and it was fantastic.
Yeah,
it actually, they make this one look more like a cinematic thriller as opposed to a Disney film, which is what I was very excited to see. I've said it once or twice, and I'm gonna re-emphasize it. Deadpool trailer, I'm over it.
I saw the Red Band trailer last night.
Mm-hmm. Like the original, like it's that trailer, but like rated R.
Right.
Yes.
It doesn't really add that much, but it makes it more
funny.
Well, see, I don't think it makes it funnier.
Really?
I think it makes it more Deadpoolish.
Okay, well, fair enough. And I think Deadpool's hilarious.
Moo.
No, I've seen that trailer. I actually saw it a long time ago when they first came out with this one, because they do show that in a few films. Like if you're going to see like a super R-rated film, they'll play that trailer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I agree. That trailer's a little bit better. It's more Deadpool. There's just certain parts about it that are just fantastic. Like the end where they talking about his face. Yes.
An avocado.
Yes. Freddy Krueger. Anyway, so we've got that. We had The Boy, which looks terrifying.
You know, the first time I saw the trailer, I wasn't really impressed.
Right.
This time, it looks a little bit better. I don't know if this is a second trailer or a
Same
different
trailer.
Is it really?
Yep.
Because it just seems better this time.
Well, I think now that you kind of have an idea of what it's about and know what to expect,
right.
Now you're really focusing on the detail of it, and you're like, okay, no, I could see this.
And one of the things that we watched last night was 10 Most Terrifying Dolls.
Yes.
In recent cinema history. Yeah, I can see where this guy would fall into that.
Yeah.
Still not interested in The Forest.
Yeah, no, me either. It looks stupid. We had another ride-along. No, it was a different ride-along trailer.
It still looks funny, though.
I'm very excited about that one still. Of course, Hateful Eight, The Fifth Wave, which,
yeah,
I cannot wait for.
I'm excited about that.
And then we got a new trailer today.
I know, and I haven't seen any of the others, but I really want to see this one.
We got a trailer for Barbershop 3. Now, I'd seen that the other day. I was looking at some stuff, and I came across. I'm like, shut up.
I don't really couldn't care less about Nicki Minaj,
right?
But I want to see this movie.
Yeah, well, first of all, I've seen all of them, and I love them. They hold a special place in my heart. This is the barbershop. Anyways.
But yeah, I want to see that. I mean, and it seems like I want to see the sequels more than I want to see the originals.
Well,
I mean, Ride Along 2, I want to see it. Haven't seen the first one.
Right.
Barbershop 3, want to see it. Haven't seen the first 2.
Wow. Yeah, no, I'm very excited about all the films we've got coming out.
We've got a ton of stuff coming out, and it's going to be expensive.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Spend a lot of time at the theater.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is all the time we have for today's show. Check us out next week when we review something. We don't know yet. We'll figure it out. Also, don't forget to check out all the exciting content we have on 217radio.com. And we will be back with you guys next week.
If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please get a hold of us on through our media.
Yes,
through our website.
Facebook, website. 217radio.com doesn't really have a lot of options for it, but picketandjoe.com does. Of course, Pickett and Joe on Facebook.
If you know us personally, go ahead and send us a text. We don't care.
Yeah, whatever. No, I'm not giving up my number. Okay, I might. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's not going to happen.
Mine's available. You just got to find it.
So check us out next week. We'll see you then.
All right, bye, everybody.